Okay, Wednesday morning. I got a couple of things on my agenda, on my schedule, if you will. But I just watched a funny Facebook clip about loud people who talk really loud on the phone just so other people know how important they are. And I had a memory. Here's the memory. Years ago, back before cell phones, every truck stop had phones at the tables so truckers could eat their meal and chat with their wife or kids and, save time, basically, and feel like they were part of their home life and their wife was part of their road life. And it just made for a nicer meal, especially if you were a single truck driver with, not single, I mean a truck driver that wasn't a team. Hearing your wife's voice or hearing your kids' voices was, relief from the loneliness. But always, and I mean always, there would be this one loudmouth guy in there talking louder than anyone else on their phone, and it would always be some salesman with a very important tie talking loud enough to let everyone in the restaurant know that he was not some lowly trucker scum. And truckers would just get a chuckle because everybody knew what his motivation was. Number one, to take advantage of an amenity that was strictly meant for truck drivers. They had payphones everywhere that salesmen could use. But to go in and take up a table with a phone, some truck driver that had very limited amount of time and was gone for weeks at a time would not be able to use the phone. So already he was a dirtbag for not using the payphone instead of using the limited amount of table phones. And then I have another funny story, and I've told this before, but I get a chuckle out of it because in my mind, every time I've had an encounter with highly educated people, believe me, I have no problem with highly educated people, but often highly educated people are truly, truly stupid people who can do nothing but read and take tests. And here's an example. I had an old boss. This was before I started my own company, and his name was David Stoll. And he would never miss an opportunity to point to his master's degree that he kept on the wall behind his desk, so when you were looking at him, you could not miss this 3-foot by 5-foot framed copy of his master's degree that he kept on the wall behind his desk. David was in his 30s before he got his first job. And I worked for my dad from about 13 to 17 when I joined the Army. And then, every day of my life since then. And to think of somebody making it all the way into their 30s on grants and Pell Grants and student loans and never having a job. It just blew my mind. Anyway, I was a truck driver. They hired him as the terminal manager. Dumber than a box of rocks. And his pay, now this is way, way, way back, decades ago. And my wife and I were a team for this company, and we would make 70 to 80 grand a year. I'm talking, early 90s, when 70 or 80,000 would probably be nowadays 225,000. And they paid him, David Stoll, this master's degree guy that did not miss an opportunity to let you know how highly educated he was. They paid him $30,000 a year. And he didn't know that. He didn't know how much truck drivers were making. Because that was another thing. He never let you walk out of his office without letting you know that you, the truck driver, were so far beneath him that he never missed an opportunity to try and make you feel like crap for being a truck driver or a commoner. And it came time to hand our W-2s out to us because they came from the home office down in Crowley, Louisiana, up to Bossier City, and then he would give everybody their W-2s. He wasn't supposed to look at them. They were in sealed envelopes. He unsealed these envelopes and looked at people's W-2s. And he was absolutely shocked and pissed that stupid truckers with no college degrees could make as much and more as he. And I used to chuckle at that. Really, David was the most highly educated and the dumbest person I ever met. In any other walk of life, if he didn't have that master's degree hanging on a wall, he would be nothing better than a dishwasher, because he was that incapable and illogical and nonsensical. And that sort of, I encountered this the other day. I told you about the little discussion I had with this guy telling me how much better solar was. And I said, man, you're out of your mind. Solar has its place. I have a gate up there that's solar operated. I have a solar panel on the fence down here that charges a battery up here. I have a solar panel right above here. There's the charge controller. I have a battery down here, and it runs a light underneath my cabinet there, and it runs a light right up here. So absolutely, solar has its place. But in able to power an entire house off of solar, you have to invest an exorbitant amount of money, and you will never, the return on investment, the ROI, just isn't there. I mean, you won't live long enough, and just about the time you think you might be offsetting the $20,000 worth of solar you had, you got to replace batteries. Batteries are good. Now they got these lithium-ion batteries that are far better and last longer, but you have to take so many precautions with them. You have an energy spike. Some of them have software in them that prevents discharging faster than they should, or charging faster than they should, and you get hit by lightning and your batteries are gone. So you got $8,000 worth of batteries, $12,000 worth of solar panels, and a $2,000 or $3,000 charge controller that you can only use if it's been sunny. And this guy, I had a long discussion with him, and I didn't insult him. I said, that's absolute crap. A generator, you could replace this generator 5 times in the next 30 years, and then add up the gas that you used, and you would still not come out with the $30,000, $25,000 you'd have to invest in solar for the same amount of time, because things break on solar. Solar panels don't last that long. Charge controllers don't last that long. Batteries have to be replaced about 7 or 8 years, from what I understand, is what they get from good lithium-ion batteries. And so you spent at least double what your initial investment in solar was just to keep it for 20, 25 years. Anyway, the guy clearly lost the argument, and he stewed on it for about an hour. Some lowly, stupid truck driver beat him with the average common sense that most people possess, but it seems like the highly educated people don't possess. Well, he came back about an hour later and let me know that he had a degree in sun. I joke. He said he had a degree in solar energy, and he knew electricity well because he's really smart. Anyway, that's just my experience with highly educated people. They really take offense when they can't beat you up with their degree. And I had a boss that did that, and I encounter these people constantly who I guess they can only feel good about themselves when they can make you feel bad about yourself. Or maybe they may not even do that, but if they can look at you and say, this guy lives in a mobile home. Not only one mobile home, but 2 mobile homes. So my life is much better than his. Okay, I have 2 paid for homes. This one and that one down there. I'm not even gonna go into it. I don't want to sound like one of them, but I have had these people compare their lives to me and their education to me, and I just happily sit back and enjoy my quiet little life in my quiet little mobile home, and I putt around on a motorcycle, and I sit here on the front porch and enjoy the sun and pet my dogs. And those people that are determined to try to make me feel like I'm less than because they added 4, 5, 8, 10 years to their life in school and I didn't. Help yourself. If you can say you're as happy as I am and as content as I am, then your degree worked out great for you. That's all I'm saying. That's it. Wow, 11 minutes. Oh my God. I don't know why I do this. I'm sorry. I should put this at the beginning and say just scroll ahead 11 minutes and 16 seconds. All right, I'm going to go in and get my solar oven. My solar oven is right. Where is it? Where is it? Where is my solar oven? Okay, there it is. Right there on that cart. I'm going to get the solar oven. I'm going to set it right here and I'm going to let it start getting warm. And then I'm going to go inside. I'm going to peel some carrots, peel some potatoes, cut them all up. And I got a little bitty roast that's my wife and I, that's another thing we're doing. We're buying smaller quantities of meat because meat has gotten so expensive. And once it's in the refrigerator, it's just the 2 of us. And my wife, she's not much of an eater. And I always feel like I'm in a race to eat stuff before it goes bad. So I'm cooking far smaller pieces of meat and far less quantities. And so far that's working out better. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cook a roast today, a very small roast with potatoes and carrots. And I got some onions. My wife hates onions. So what I'm going to do is cut them in giant chunks so she can just avoid the onions. Have a good day. I'm fixing to get all that ready, get it in the sun, and then go sand a handle for I'm a Survivor and a Thriver. Her knife, I should have that handle done today. See you soon. Isn't that a pretty cat? She sure has some thick fur. And I'll tell you, I only feed her once a day. But she is not suffering from malnutrition. So what do you say, huh? You gonna claw me? I'm gonna put my hand up there as soon as you're done eating. Okay, here we go. Come on. No, never going to happen, is it? Well, I can just admire you from afar. You're a pretty girl. Okay, back to the solar oven. All right, before I go back and get my roast ready, I thought we'd just have a quick look at the knife. Now this stuff doesn't, I have to just about sand this wax paper off. But you can get a rough idea of what it's gonna look like. And within a few seconds on the belt sander here, right behind you, the 6x48, I'll have all this glue cleaned up and come out nice. Nothing squeezed out. And what I do next is go over to my metal cutting bandsaw and I cut these pins off flush with the knife. And then I go to the sander behind you and I sand the glue off one side and turn it over, sand it off the other side, and then I carefully sand the glue off the back and the bottom, and then I have all my knives I have contoured to fit the tools I have, and this contour here fits right nice into the wheel on my belt grinder, and this is the only contour that I have to get my die grinder in, and that's just to get the glue off, and then I put it on my router. I'll show you. What a wonderful day in the neighborhood. What a wonderful day for a neighbor. All right, we'll be back. Let's go get some roast fixed up. All right, see you in 6, maybe 7 hours. I'm gonna finish my coffee and get on to the shop. Okay, I've got almost all the glue cleaned off. The rest will come off by hand sanding. Got it all squared up. Now I have to do that with my angle grinder, my die grinder with a drum sander in it. And I'll put this in the vise and show you how I do that. I couldn't record the on my big sander because my phone is just about out of juice. All right, this is gonna be just a little noisy. Very noisy. All right, hold on. I gotta put another sanding drum on this. All right, I got a whole nother drum here. We'll know in a second if it's any more round than the other one. Well, I'll tell you what, it feels like it. I can feel it on my hand. No, it's not. See, hear that sound when it speeds up really high? It's clearly not round. Yeah, oh well, here we go. Only needed it for a second. I'll tell you what. Nope, it's not round. Now, the mistake I made was buying a 13,000, I think it's 13,000, might be even more than that. I think it's 25,000 revolutions a minute. And that's way too fast. 3,000, 2,500, that's more what I need. But I have it, so I do have another one. You know, I might try that. I generally use this after I'm done shaping it initially. All right, I may have to sell this, and oh, you fell completely. Wow, sorry about that. Huh. Well, you probably missed everything I said. Anyway, this is it's a good machine, but whatever you put in here has to be absolutely balanced and completely 100% circular, or I don't know, even, you know what I mean? Because if it's not, it shows up immediately. So anyway, here we are. All right, now I put this on my router and I knock these corners off, and then it's all hand sanding after that. So in 2 or 3 hours, I'll be buffing this out to a shiny shine. All right, so this is what it looks like coming off my router. And then I put it on my metal cutting bandsaw, and that's what it looks like coming off the bandsaw. So I'm gonna do this side, and then it's all hand sanding after that. Okay, so this is what it looks like off the belt sander. And I've cut both them things off after the router. And I put it on that belt grinder and then this belt grinder. Now what we're left with is hand sanding. And I did make this just a little bit smaller, thinner rather, than I usually make it, because this is for a lady and I doubt she's got big man hands. So, all right. Now, I'm not gonna show you the hand sanding. Oh, Lord. Oh, jeez. Because it will shake the table too much, and this is my camera, and the camera will just be shaking around. So 180, 220, 320, 400, 600, and then the buffer. So I'll see you after 600 and before the buffer, and then I'll show you what this looks like after the buffer. And tomorrow I'll make a sheath. The scammers never end. I'm just one person, and I get a dozen scams a day. I got a text message, and here's what it said. It said, from the U.S.P. You certainly don't want to ignore anything from the USP. And it said, my courier has been suspended because my package of wrong address. And then it gives me a link, a harmless little link that I need to download. And, you know, the sad part is, 10 years ago, when people of my era did not encounter such dishonest people on such a minute-by-minute degree. You know, before phones and internet, I mean, I might have met one or two or three dishonest crooks in my whole life. And then the internet and cell phones, and it's like a dozen times a day you get messages inviting you to click on this harmless little link. Anyway, here's where I'm at. I gotta go turn my, I don't know if you can see this. Let me see if I can see it from another angle. Okay. These sanding marks, these are from my belt grinder. Now I sand all them out, and you can see up here I'm getting them out up on this end. And you can see I'm sanding this way to get them out. And then my next grit, I'll go this way. And I can do that on the top side and the back side, but the bottom side I can't do that on the curve. So what I have is this, that I have sandpaper cut to this width, and you stick it in this slot, and then you wrap it around here, and then you run it back and forth. Actually, I turn this over so it would be this side, and you know, turn this on, and you sand out the grinding lines that away. All right, I gotta go walk up there and turn my solar oven. Be right back. All right, I thought I could get more done, but I got a headache that hurts so bad I can't believe you can't hear it. So it's making me feel a little sick to my stomach, which these kind of headaches always do. So I did make some progress. I got it sanded up to 180. I've got all the sanding marks out of the handle area, and I've got the belt grinder marks out of the wood. So now it's a piece of cake. Well, not a piece of cake, but far less calories will be burned getting this up to 600. So we'll be back tomorrow. All right, not gonna eat much. I feel like crap, but I am gonna try it. Oh, that's tender. That is really good. did eat the onions. My wife hates onions. And me, I love onions. Yep, that's good and tender, and I could probably eat all that up tonight, but not the way I feel right now. Okay, that's the end of this video. See you tomorrow.